Mark Dowdle, Date Night Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. I'm here live with our Switchboard operator, and he's quite apparently building, some would argue, one of the best live stream portfolios one could ever build. I mean, the guy's got non-stop photos of him taken, of just him ripping the Switchboard. Mark, how are we doing today, man?
Declan, first off, it is so great to be here. We had a very entertaining episode 2 of the DNP, and you're right. There's quite a portfolio being built, and it's just endless fun, endless smiles. We're having a rip-roaring time, and it's only going to get better. We got a lot to look forward to this season, but a lot happened on episode 2 that we'll get into tonight.
Yeah, so we obviously have to start with the fact that we had silent disco headphones for this episode, and it may or may not have been the biggest addition that we've ever had to the show. Correct me if I'm wrong there?
No, you are correct in that. It has definitely been one of the biggest additions. And what I'll say is what I noticed when I was looking around first draft was in certain pockets in the back ends of the tap room where people are usually not engaged because they're either too far away or they're not wanting to put their ears up to their phones, is they were back there, had their headphones on, and you could tell that they were watching from a distance. And that was something I hadn't seen before, with people in the way backs of the room that wanted to get out of the chaos, out of the commotion, out of the drama that the date night has up front, and they were engaged in the back. So that was really cool to see. The Ditto headphones were a huge hit.
That's sweet. Yeah, I think that was like one of the things we were maybe lacking, just kind of up until this point, is like audience engagement, because we just quite frankly didn't really know how we wanted to engage them. You know, we played around with just like broadcasting the date through the PA system, trying to live stream that, and that became an issue. We kind of just tripled down on the Twitch stream last year, which was fine. You know, shout out Twitch. The chats are kind of the best thing to ever happen to the show, right? But then ultimately, like, we kind of sat on this idea that came across with the silent disco headphones. Like, it is really the perfect scenario of like exactly what you want, because we want to maintain intimacy of the show and the dates, but we also want like everyone to listen and tune in like as it's happening. And that only helps your job at the end, obviously bringing on the people at the end. It just like asking them how that all went. I thought, again, it just went flawless. But this time being able to talk about the show and who they thought were winning. Everyone that came on was like, Austin's going to win this thing. Austin's going to win. They were obviously right. They cashed in. So just fun time all around, man.
Well, and that's a good point. The conversations that I had with the crowd this episode was different than last week, because last week, because of the disconnect between the audience and the date specifically happening, there wasn't as much information from the crowd there that they could take to that like crowd work session. But this time they knew what was said on the dates. They knew all the emotion, all the drama that was going on. And that was a big thing, because last week there were some takeaways that you're like, you know, it's when you go to the date night podcast, you're engaged in the experience because it's a production, there's a crowd of people, and it's an experience. But when you watch from home, you're engaged in the drama of it. You're engaged in the actual conversation being had. And I think what the headphones did more than anything was tie those two things together, where you could go to first draft, you could engage in the experience, but you didn't have to sacrifice engaging in the conversation that we had at the table. And so that's one thing I picked up more than anything, was people were invested in what was going on because now they had an opportunity to.
Right. And when Andrew was like, hey, we're doing the headphones thing, I was like, you think people are going to like buy or pay $3 to rent the clunky over the head headphones that make you look like you're like a robot or something? Like, I wasn't sure if people were going to be sold on the fashion, but seeing everybody in the clunky overhead square headphones was fantastic.
Yeah. Classic problem solution. You see a bunch of people with their heads up to their phones, getting upset that there's a delay. Andy did a great job of nipping it in the bud and saying, "Hey, we got an issue here. Let's get this figured out. By week 2, it's already solved."
Can't thank Andy enough for his back end work. Guys, absolutely grand slamming. So another thing that I noticed just from afar, and I'd like to address here, how drunk was everyone last night? It seemed like everyone was trashed.
I can't speak to everyone. I can speak to some of the contestants on stage. Let's just say some people were nervous and might have come into the date night podcast with a few shots to get them going before showing up. I'm not going to say who. That is up for the viewers and the listeners to go back and make that determination on themselves. But there was, I think, some nerves going here and there, and people found a way to ease those nerves.
Which I got to say, I feel like that's good for the show. Just like people being less nervous. I think just from that face value thing, like totally fine. But it was so funny. Like you don't pick up on it at the beginning of the episode. And then by the time like Yemi and all the other different people are like you're talking to, interviewing, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like everyone's fucked up.
Hey, you're at first draft. You never know what can go down.
They were drinking. Apparently drinks were going down, dude, which is phenomenal. But yeah, man, I think this episode, more than anything, will be taking hopefully our first caller in 6 minutes here. We're not sure if he is joining or not. It's going to be a big our contestant number 1, Matt. But what I saw from all 3 contestants, they were like really charged up on like wanting to take Yemi on a second date. Like there was legitimate competition going on for Yemi, and I think that may have been the first time where we had like 3 contestants back to back to back that were all just like so dialed in on like actually kind of liking Yemi. Because sometimes I've personally screwed that up where like they're just kind of there to be on the show and like you know who's across from them doesn't really matter. But there's vested interest here. Would you say the same on your end?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, having an opportunity to talk to the 3 contestants before they went on the date was super helpful. And at one point, Austin and Matt were sitting at the same table together and talking about themselves, talking about what they're into. Austin was, he's in production and media. And then Matt was talking about how he operates a podcast. And so I think early on they were getting to know each other and almost like dishing out what am I going up against?
Right.
Sizing each other up.
Having lighthearted conversation, but at the same time, like knowing how you're going to beat this fucking guy's ass,
Yeah, there's strategy involved. Games were being played early.
That's good.
But there was a definite interest in Yemi by all 3 contestants, which was really good to see.
Cool. Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, and I also think like the final little like how it kind of all worked out where Matt really thought he won and was sneaking up to grab the mic and then she goes with us and like you can't write a script like that, man. That was one of the more suspenseful finishes to the night as well.
And Matt did a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal. You have to give it up to Matt.
No, yeah, you do. I think where I wouldn't say Matt went wrong. It just wasn't there. But Matt did a phenomenal job of having conversation thoughtfully, and you could tell by the questions he was asking that he was digging deeper, trying to get to know Yemi on more than just a surface level.
Oh yeah.
So you got to put your hat, take your hat off for Matt there. It's a tough loss.
Would you say that Matt asking Yemi or bringing up the topic about if she's ever done anything bad or broke any rules, and then he admitted to being a guy who smokes a lot of weed, do you think that may have been his defining moment?
It's up there. Based on her reaction, she didn't like that very much.
He apparently he was just trying to play it off as a cool thing, and apparently that was a big deal.
Yeah, it almost seemed like she could potentially get in trouble from a team or a job based on her reaction. So definitely put a riff in there their communication and intimacy throughout the night.
Yeah, and I mean we can't be getting away from the fact that weed is federally illegal, and Matt saying the things he did on the show may have been a huge risk. We're not sure. Also working for a state university that Matt is,
Yeah.
could potentially turn some heads.
Might have got a little too comfortable.
He may have
Might
got.
That's a second date behind closed door conversation.
Right. That is a off the date night podcast type of thing. But hey, he might be calling in 2 minutes here, and he might want to do is smoke weed on the show. So we have no clue.
That's true.
I will say him specifically asking the questions he asked, or like the topics he was bringing up, were like fantastic. Like when they started talking about travel and all that stuff, and he asked Yemi about like how she felt as a woman being in Israel, I believe. I was like, wow, that is like podcast level questions. Like this guy's being very thoughtful.
And it was crazy to see how quickly he got to that level in that short amount of time. And when he asked that question, what was cool to see was Yemi's crowd, her squad of people that came to support her. There were questions, particularly that one, that turned their heads. They were like, okay, this guy's a real candidate, especially when he's asking questions like that.
Right.
So, that's what we get the opportunity to see when we're there in person, is not only how is the date, like Yemi, how is she reacting to the questions in the conversation, but we get to see what her squad and her posse is reacting, because at the end of the day, if you don't get the goodwill of the squad, you're not gonna get the date.
I've never met or been in or seen any sort of relationship that goes well where the friends of either party involved are not also friends. Like
Right.
It's just, if you don't get the approval from your dogs, then the relationship is not going to have any bite.
That's a phenomenal analogy there, Doc.
Thanks, man. It was really trying to work on that one. Okay, so now we're supposedly waiting for Matt to call into the show. If he's not going to be here, you know what? We're just going to continue to move on through the night.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Matt is waiting to join us yet. We'll give him a few minutes here.
Yeah. He might be smoking, sucking down his last little joint. We are not sure.
But this is all speculation. We want to put one thing on the record here. If anything, that this is not truth. This is our what we are speculating. It's all speculation.
Yeah, it's always been speculation, and we have no idea what's true or what's not true in this world. And as podcasters and hosts of an after show, simply trying to recap what we may have seen.
Right.
There's only so much that we can truly document.
And if there's any employers, if there's any employers of Matt, we don't know if we heard correctly either. You could have been talking about something completely different.
Okay, one thing I did think about on the employer side. So first thing on my end, I was getting a ride home from one of my coworkers, and I was like, yeah, man, we run this like crazy date night show every Wednesday. And I pitched him on the show. He watched the whole Twitch stream. Absolutely came in loving it today, calling me Decky Matchmaker. But on the second flip side of things, when Yemi was like not willing to tell people where she worked or what she kind of like where she specifically worked, I was like, man, that's smart, because if someone saw you on like this date night show and you didn't want to be on the you didn't want to be recognized, that would be a pretty fun conversation, would it not?
Yeah. Very intelligent, sly move by Yemi there.
Yeah, huge way to think that through. And obviously, a little bit of a bummer that we can't get her on the after show today. We can always look to try and get her on a later date. Not too worried about it at the end of the day, because we'll see how this whole second date thing shakes out. But I will say, she's at T-Wolves game. She's dancing at T-Wolves game right now. So sick brag, can't be here. Yeah. But man, I truly think that we found love on a podcast last night. I really do.
I think back-to-back weeks. I think we've had back-to-back opportunity for love on 2 weeks consecutive. Now, I wanna pose a question and direct attention toward the final day. I wanna hear your perspective from a viewer at home. What was your take on that final date?
You're talking Sean.
Sean,
Sean, our
yes.
rapper.
Sean, a rapper.
He brought the energy, and I was like, we had a couple side bets going on in our Discord, and one of them was, is Rapper Boy going to promote anything that he has going on the show? Like
Which you did.
which he did, and it was -200, and it grand slammed like a -200 bet would. My thoughts on the overall data, I actually kind of was impressed with his seriousness that he took the date.
Yeah.
and I actually enjoyed what they had to talk about, and like it was fun to have Yemi at the point that she was after like kind of a serious date with Matt, like someone who's like very intentional about his questions, and then like obviously like her and Austin kind of just like fell in love, which was really cool. And then so you had that moment, and then like you kind of got into the third one, and it was like, all right, what's this guy all about? Like super
Hmm.
well dressed. Like I fucking loved his coveralls, or overalls, I should say. His intro video, he just talked about snowboarding in Minneapolis. I was like, this guy's all over the place. I'm so ready for it. And yeah, I mean, he provided some phenomenal entertainment, like him and Yemi arguing about who could actually lift more, which my money's entirely on Yemi. There's no way
Oh,
that guy
100%.
can lift anything close to what Yemi can. Woman's got absolute pipes for arms. I was like so impressed. But overall, I mean, I thought he fit the role of the show in terms of just like you had like a couple serious dates, and then you had this wild card guy who you're like, all right, what's this guy's deal? But then also kind of like found a way to be competitive, I thought.
Yeah, there were definitely three unique dates.
Yes.
One that just felt right, the other one that kind of up in the air, and the other one where I think Yemi was sniffing through the BS a little bit. She was like,
Yes.
what is this guy's deal?"
Right.
I thought it was an interesting comment where he said he saw her picture and he just needed to be there, which maybe that's a line that has worked on other girls in the past, but Yemi was not having it.
Hey, look,
She
as
called
a
him out immediately.
yeah, right. She's like, okay, cool. What do you mean, man? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Yeah, I think that was that's usually like sly move number 1,000. Like that's not
Mm-hmm.
it was not very thoughtful in terms of the creativity behind it. But again, I love the effort that guy came in with, and I can't wait to talk to him about it. Maybe we could talk. I'm sure he'll have some things to say. But Mark, let's make sure we ask him about that when he does join the call.
We will. And I'd like to know more about his. He showed up 40 minutes before the show started. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this. Well, they did bring it up on the pod, but he left because he came from the gym, needed to change, and come back. And I'm interested to see how he spent that time. Was he changing? Uh, was he participating? Was he taking a shot? Was he participating in some activities
Was
that
he
Matt
also
had?
smoking weed?
That is the question that I'm alluding to,
Right.
and those are the things that I'm curious about because those 40 minutes seemed like a demeanor change in Sean. Came in with this energetic, charismatic attitude, and then when he popped back in, he was smooth and sly and super cool energy. And
Sure.
I'm just curious to know what changed in that 40 minutes.
Right.
Was it just as close? I guess we'll have to find out.
I guess we will. And I do also want to address, I love that you brought up the fact that like he brought up the fact on the show that he saw her picture, and then like magically he was on the show. Like I was, as we were looking for contestants last week, Jess and I obviously, scouring the interweb for as many different people as we could find. And I saw this Sean Cole official figure follow the podcast out of nowhere, and I was like, I wonder where this guy had possibly come from. Didn't see his submission necessarily, but I saw the follow, and I said, this might be the opportunity. I think this guy's up to something. So pretty much he pulled the oldest trick in the book, and I'm glad we capitalized.
He made for an entertaining night.
Yeah.
He definitely closed the loop on a very entertaining episode too.
Yes, he did. Um, yeah, I really, like I said, I think we really did find love on a podcast this week and last week. It does seem like we're really catching stride with these headphones. I'm interested to see how this all kind of evolves. Because I was telling Andrew, like, I'd like to get the actual Twitch stream on the chats so that everyone can hear you. That basically they can get the full presentation and get the contestant videos like involved in before they go with the dates. Because that was awesome. That was such a fun switch. Putting all of the contestant preview videos right before they went on the date, it built so much context for like who this person was, and it really got you like in the front seat ready to rock.
And people in the audience don't get to see that.
They don't. I was like one of 40, I guess, on the Twitch stream last night. We all saw it. It was
What was the Twitch stream like? What were the chats? What was going on in the chats?
Chats yesterday were pretty dormant. I gotta say, like pretty slow day for the chats. I was the only one chatting in there. I screamed, rapper promoting his event on the podcast -200 was a slam. I think was my one thing I posted. I was driving most of the time too, so like I wasn't really able to be as active. But no, the Twitch stream was awesome. I had to make a final, lessons learned from last week, just making sure I had a longer commercial to get you set up for your interview. And I don't know if you saw or do you see any of the commercials that I put together, but they're pretty fucking goofy. And the one that I had running while you were getting ready was just absolutely electric. And I'll splice that in here for the YouTube just so they see like what kind of tomfoolery is going on there. We'll be right back to the Date Night Podcast. Just wanted to let you guys all know this podcast is presented by Chill Botanicals, the chillest, illest, willest botanical CBD company in the entire world. Stay chilly. I was pretty proud of it though, for the most part.
Yeah, it's that's the one thing we miss out on when we are watching it there live, is we don't get to listen to your eloquently made, beautifully produced commercials.
It's okay. It's all good, man. They're unique to the Twitch stream. That's why we have them. So,
Speaking of, we just got off the topic of Sean. Sean did pop in here.
Let's go.
And so I'd like to invite him in.
Yeah, go ahead and hit admit.
So we can get going with Sean, because Sean was a real ride there.
He was.
And we got questions for him. We want to bring him in here. Sean, can you hear us?
Yo,
what's up, Sean?
What's good? How y'all doing?
Good, dude. How are you?
I'm good. I'm gonna try to connect it through my car speaker. My bad. I'm driving again. You know what I mean? I'm always, doing something. Golly.
Sure are. Hey, don't switch your phone to speaker or to your car speaker, because you sound really good right now.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you sound golden, great. Man.
That's what she said. What's up, though?
So Sean, we have to, welcome to the show, dude. Thanks for joining. First and foremost, we want to start off by asking, kind of walk us through. We heard you showed up to the Date Night Podcast roughly 40 minutes before the show started. You're wearing workout clothes. You then left, and then you came back at a certain point in time wearing these awesome overalls. I thought you had the best fit of the night. Yeah. Can you explain to us what you did in that time by the time you showed up initially and the time you came back?
Well, so I have a really clothing line called Glad Fashion House, and they make clothing and stuff like that. So that was actually his outfit that I was wearing from his shop. So I literally ran. I parked my car. I left, parked my car, and then ran upstairs. And yeah, man, and was just like, yo, I need to fit. I was talking to him prior to me pulling up because I knew, I was like, man, I know I'm running late so my bad. Apologize. My manager was actually calling. But I'm actually in a park and get some light so that way it's a lot better. But yeah, so that's pretty much what happened. So I just went and was just like, yo, I need you to just give me the swag, you know what I mean? Just drip me out. Hold on, let me let her know. I'm gonna call her back. But yeah, so I was just like, yo, I need the sauce. And he was like, yo, I got you. And that's actually that outfit I wore was the same outfit. It wasn't the exact same one, but the same design that I wore in my music video, actually. So that's a friend of mine that I've been rocking with for a while, and he's always looked out and stuff like that, and it was lit. So
So at what point is that outfit gonna become yours? I feel like
you know what
time.
he actually it's mine. So he actually let me have it now. But the design, I really love the design. So it's the same design I wore in the music video. And then last night I was like, bro, what's your cash app, bro? Like, let me send you some money or something like that. He was like, nah, bro, it's all good. It's all love. This one's on the house. And I was like, all right, for sure. Glad Fashion House it is then. So,
Dude.
Yeah, so that's how that worked. And now I actually have it at my house. So I might actually whip it out sometime. You know what I mean? I might just have to wear it again at another premiere or something. I don't know. But yeah, I really like the design. So
Right. Yeah, no, I think this is a perfect time to, promote the fact that you are going to be performing this Friday. And, you did also promote your show and invite Yemi and 3 others to your show.
yeah.
Do you think she's still going to show up?
You know what? I hope she doesn't flake because I'll be heartbroken. But if she does, if she can't make it for any reason because she has the second date, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna hope that she shows up to the next one. You know what I mean? Because next Friday, I do have a show with what's his name, Bobby Raps,
Nice.
Waterwave and stuff like that. Yeah. So next Friday, that's gonna be at Poorhouse. This Friday is just me hosting, and that's with Icy.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Sean, I'm gonna pose a question to you, Sean. So Yemi has 3 friends she can bring. If she chose to accept that and bring Austin as one of her 3 friends, would you be into that? Would you be okay with that?
No, I totally would. No, Austin is cool, so I
Good
wouldn't
sportsmanship.
be against it. Yeah. No, for sure. Because just because they're having a second date doesn't mean like they're married. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I still believe that my chances are still great. But
Yes.
no, I definitely I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at all. So.
Okay, well that's great. I love the sportsmanship, and I love the point you're making of the second date doesn't mean they're married. Phenomenal point. Didn't even think about that. That's phenomenal. So I'm glad that so not only do you have a show this Friday, but at the Poorhouse that you're opening, but you also have another show. So for the podcast that's coming out, this podcast is coming out next Tuesday, which I believe is the 2nd of, or no, it's the 1st of March. There will be something on Friday, so anybody listening right now can still go. Not to mention if Yemi and Austin miss it this week, they can for sure have their second date at your show next week. That's perfect.
No, I think that would be awesome because then, again, while I'm on stage, I can be like, yo, shout out Yemi, shout out Austin.
I still love you.
Hopefully, I get the third. Yeah, you know what I mean. I want the third date. He can have the second. You know what I mean?
It's a treasure chest situation.
Yeah, you got to play right.
Right on. So, Sean, I obviously you came up short last night, and our condolences to you. We were really pulling for you. Yeah, it's all good, man. I do want to say, where do you think, or just want to ask, where do you think you went wrong?
You know what? I think just like maybe it was. I really don't know because I felt like, you know what? Let me say this. I hope. I wish we had more time. Oh my gosh, everyone is calling me. Like they must They must know that I'm busy right now. They just like, yo, let's just disturb.
They must
let's
be
just
watching
disturb
the
him
Twitch
real-
stream, dude. You might be saying
Or,
some
you
things
know
you
what I
might
mean?
regret. Hopefully that's not the case. You're doing great.
I know, right? And they're probably calling me like, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't say that, but you know what? F it, I'm gonna say it. I think that she should. I wish I had more time. You know what I mean? And I had a chance to actually ask questions because I had, you know what I mean? I got to make sure she's the right one for me too.
So with more time, what would be a few questions, maybe one or two that you would have gone deeper on that you wish you could have had more time with?
I wanted to know, like, you know, ask her stuff like, you know, what is it that she likes to do? Is there, you know, kind of ask her about like her upbringing, her background. Just try to get to know her better. And not just have it on some like, oh, okay, cool. Like, is this dry? I want to, like, for me, I'm like, I like digging deep. You know what I mean? So I want to ask her certain questions about like just like her upbringing, her favorite food, if she knows how to cook. You know what I mean? And you know, obviously she works out, so like ask her about her workout routine, and just like you know, kind of just get deep. Ask her if there's anything like she wants to improve on, anything she's working on this year, or any goals and stuff like that, any travel plans. You know, just you know, the good questions.
The good questions. Yeah, and you know,
Right.
speaking, you touched on one of those being the workout. She claimed that she could lift more than you.
You know what?
What do you think?
I want to touch base on that because I was gonna ask her about that. Now, I was in the gym this morning. Man, and I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very hesitant to like. I almost put 2 plates on, and I was gonna tag her in the video and say, "Can you do this?" You know what I mean? I was gonna do that, but I was like, but then you know I was a little tired and my muscles was a little sore because I worked out yesterday. So
Yeah, if you could
can you do
maybe
2 plates?
still, you know, you work out almost every day from the looks of it.
Yeah.
I would say if you could put the 2 plates on and then just tag her and just say "miss you," I think that would be that would be the best move.
You got game. You got game for sure. I'm learning. Okay.
I think that would be great. It would maybe like a "miss you" and then like "see you at the poorhouse."
That's oh wow. But then you know what? All right. 2 plates meaning 245s or just like 2 plates.
Hey, up to you.
245.
I don't know your limitations, man.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Matter of fact,
And tag us
go
too.
to the gym tonight.
Okay.
You said what?
I said tag us too. Just know at the
No, for
__
sure.
DNP. Just if you could take care of that, I'd love to see it.
No, for sure. I got y'all. I'm gonna do it today. It won't be 245s, but it will probably be a 45 and a 25 or something.
Yeah. Hey, it's 2 plates. It's just relative to the weight.
Yeah. Very true. So yeah, for sure. Okay, miss you. Yo, you got game.
Well, the guy's got a mustache and a mullet. What do you think he's out here doing?
I didn't pull this out of thin air, Sean.
Very true.
Well, right on,
Sean,
man.
We appreciate you stopping in. We are excited to see that story come later this evening or tomorrow, whenever you get that out. That is phenomenal. We're
No, I'm definitely gonna do it. And I definitely would like to be on a podcast and actually be the one picking out of 3 ladies. You know what I mean? Because you know I am trying to find love. So you know, I'm kind of bummed out it didn't happen yesterday. But
Yeah, no problem, man. And you know what? There could always be another opportunity, and we'll definitely look into it. Like we always tell everyone, we'll throw it across the board, and see what they say. But we know you made the most of your opportunity. Thanks for being on the show yesterday and calling in today, brother.
Nah, for sure. Thank you guys. And always remember, stay positive. You know what I mean? Treat people good.
Yes,
and
sir.
live life.
Yes, sir, brother.
Absolutely.
All right.
Take care, man.
All right. Peace and
out.
love. Yep. Peace and love. All right.
Electric.
Wow, that was electric.
Such good lighting on that fella, too.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring in.
Is Austin here?
Yeah, Austin is here.
Nice.
We're gonna bring him in right now.
Yeah, full force.
This was our winner.
Yes.
So, what if Austin's just? Oh no, he can't be with Yemi right now. Austin,
Let's go.
What's up, guys?
My boy.
Thank you.
My boy.
Appreciate
Wow.
it, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude.
A lot of fun.
There you go, dude. So stoked.
Still got it.
Yeah, where do we even start, dude? I mean, we are smiling ear to ear over here. I think the first thing that I want to talk about is your falling in love moment. Basically how you and Yemi were just like looking at each other and you're like, damn, you're very attractive. Like, talk us through that moment, man. That was insane.
I don't know, man. I mean, once I got up there and we kind of locked eyes, it was really just kind of just a vibe thing, I guess. Like,
always,
you know what I mean? You could see it in someone's face, like the way it sounds weird, but like, their eyes dilate, or like the way that they just kind of can look at you with that like a piercing gaze. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yes.
It's like, okay. So, it's kind of, the vibe was there. And then I just dove right in with the philosophical deep question. I thought that was kind of a good lead off. And I thought she had a phenomenal response. And I was actually just like taken back by how profound and articulate her answer was. In terms of it being a conscious choice.
Yeah, love is a choice.
So,
love is a choice.
Very much so.
I loved that answer.
So, yeah, great kickoff off the jump between that stuff. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Phenomenal.
She was, yeah, man. I mean, she's an absolute rocket, and her energy was great, and her friends were awesome too. So, it was cool, man.
Cool. So another question: have you set up a second date yet?
It's funny. We actually were hanging out for a while after the function last night. We went and had a few drinks and a few more drinks, and we're just chopping it up. But we didn't set an official date, but we definitely said that like we're going to have a second date.
Good. So you guys basically stayed at First Draft, or did you go like somewhere else to have drinks?
Somewhere else. We went. So we stayed at First Draft for a minute, and then we went to. Oh damn! I forgot where we. Oh, we tried to go to Stepchild. It was close, so we went to Knives. Yeah, and they had a piano bar going, so there was a decent little aesthetic. So we continued the immersive conversation there, hanging out, having some laughs. So it was great.
I want to give a shout out to your friend Cam. Cam is his name.
Yeah, Cam.
Cam was talking you up. I brought him on the after show crowd work session, and he was absolutely talking you up. Came from a rec league basketball game just to be there to support you. So, I just wanted to take a minute to say that's a phenomenal friend you got there.
And I'll take it a step further. And I didn't have time to explain to him what was going on. I'm like, yo, maybe at First Draft for beers. And he's like, okay. And then he got there and he was like, what the hell is going on here, bro? And all of a sudden, Andrew just pulled him aside. He's like, yeah, we're going to get you on camera. And he's like, dude, you did not tell me about any of this. And I'm like, bro, I really didn't have time. And I knew if I had said that, he wouldn't have showed up. So, and I really didn't even know he was going to be on camera like that. So he came through so clutch for me. He was a trooper, and I'm glad he had positive things to say about his boy. We've been friends for many years. So
yeah, and so we have to ask you a very specific question. Cam was talking about it last night. Had a lot of crazy things to say about it. So we want to know what your dad said to you the night you threw a party in high school when your dad was on the phone, or someone drunk answered the phone when you had a function when they were away, and then you ended up having to circle back and talk to your dad, and Cam said he heard your dad screaming at you but wasn't sure what he said. We were just curious on what your dad said.
Yeah, they were out of town, and he runs his own. He's an entrepreneur also, and his business is Opfer Communications. And we had a landline at the time. So when it calls, it shows up Opfer Communications. And I had been told that someone had answered the phone somewhere, and that it was someone. And then I looked at the downstairs phone and it said Opfercom, and I knew they were calling, and they kept calling. So I knew that the jig was up. And I was playing high school football at the time, and a bunch of my teammates were there. And I just told them, and they all know how he's such a hard ass, so they all knew exactly what was up. I was like, yo, Scott knows. And they're all just all at once like, get the fuck out. Everybody get out. Get your shit, get out. Like, it was hilarious. The following part was not as funny. So I finally, once the noise kind of settled down and everyone got out, I picked up a phone. And I still, to this day, don't think I've ever heard him yell that loud. A lot of I'm going to kill yous and motherfuckers and things like that. Like, fortunately, he was not there. Like, he was out of the state still. And he had like a good 2 to 3 days to cool off. But if he was there in person, he easily would have punched me in the face. Probably more. Yeah, he was irate. But yeah, to this day, there hasn't been very many times where he's yelled at me like that. But you know, it was. Would I say it was worth it? Yes, it was. It was a pretty killer party, and it was
Nice.
you know, definitely grounded, but it was worth it, man. It was quite the funny conversation, circling back and reminiscing on it. So.
We'll switch that's phenomenal first and foremost. But I want to switch gears to, we just had Sean on, and if you recall, Sean has a event coming up this Friday, and we posed the question to him that if Yemi decided to come and bring you as a guest, would he be okay with that? And he was all for it. And Declan, what was his exact quote?
He basically said that, you know, being on a second date isn't getting married. So he still thinks he has a chance at the third date.
Yeah, Sean's not fully convinced that she's sold on me just yet. So Sean's still gonna try to swap his way into it. So
you know, I
man,
think,
best of luck.
and you know, as you know, love gurus and you know, advisors here at the Date Night Podcast, we would actually advise you to take Yemi to a show, not only to support Sean and local artists, but more or less to test your guys' strength. I think if you just kind of, you know, play like, would you call it maybe a low man wins situation in love, and I think
trenches.
you know, bring Yemi to the trenches and see if you guys come out alive. Because if you do, you know, you know that she's kind of your first string linebacker.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm fine to get into the ring and trade body blows, so to speak, until, you know, see the last man standing. So yeah, no, I won't falter, man. I'm all for taking her to this little soiree of Sean's. I know he was gassing it up at the event, and he was a great dude, like, overall. You know, you know, great conversationalist and great dude. But yeah, that being said, you know, I can't let him steal Yemi's heart.
Right. Okay. For sure. Yeah. For sure. That's the action item.
But going to that party would definitely be killer. So I know that was something on the list for this weekend. So.
Nice. Okay. So I also would like to know, you know, you obviously don't have the second date set up just yet. We pitched you on the potential to go to Sean Cole's show on Friday, which, if you can't make it this Friday, he actually has another one at Poorhouse the following Friday too. So, like, don't worry if you miss the one on Friday.
Sure.
Sean Cole at Sean Cole official on Instagram. Anyways, what would be your ideal second date with Yemi? Like, what would be your pitch at this point?
I mean, definitely got to be some good food. You know, we had common ground there that would go through. So,
Good.
You know, I like great food, good aesthetic. You know, so I got a few places in mind that would be ideal, you know, in like Northeast and some other areas. But, you know, maybe follow it up with some sort of an activity. You know, work off the food a little bit. I don't know, I could take her to punch bowl wire work and skee ball and bowl or something, or I don't know, find something else to do to entertain ourselves after dinner, you know?
There, an idea maybe is, I know in Matt's date, they were talking about a dish between, I believe it was East and West Africa, that they're saying one side made it better, the better dish. So find out what that dish is. If she knows how to make it, which it sounded like she did, you should have her teach you that recipe. That could be a nice little date, making a meal together, learning about one of her favorite dishes. Could be a good little date for you.
Culinary date, timeless classic. Yeah. It's a great idea.
Timeless classic, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great suggestion, Mark.
Sure. Hey, you know,
that's what it's all about.
Well done.
You stand around the Date Night Podcast long enough, you up on a few things.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
So, Austin, we'll put it in your court here. And, as we kind of close out, this after show, episode 2, we are looking always for new people to be on the show. So do you have anyone in mind that we could potentially hit up, potentially contact, or just have them nominate themselves altogether? Who would you nominate for the show?
Cam. Yeah, easily
Cam.
Cam.
Do you think he'd do it?
He actually said that he would do it.
He said he would.
Yeah, I mean, he was a few beers in at the time, but I think I could give him the hard sell. He saw it, and he had a great time, and he liked the idea of it. So I think he would be all for it.
That's exciting. That's super exciting.
Yeah, he's more of a cerebral guy, so he'll take some push, but I think he would be great on the show. I really do.
We need more. We definitely need more guys being volunteered for the show. So that is a great suggestion.
Yeah, and if you could text Jess his contact information, or just like his Instagram or something, so we could get a hold of this man, that would be huge.
I'll certainly do that.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll keep throwing out recommendations as well. I've got a good network of bachelors and bachelorettes that might be good candidates for the show. So.
That's huge. We need as many as we can find, sir. So that's great.
Sure.
Love that, man.
For sure.
Well, right on. Anything else from you, Mark, before we want to close here? Or Austin?
No, just
any final words on your end?
No final words for me, but I wanted to congratulate Austin on a job well done, a victory. So, Austin, anything you want to say to close it off here?
Man, I play to win, and I went in there with the mentality, and I got this, and I didn't falter, man. So happy as hell about that, But all kidding aside, man, the show was great. It really exceeded my expectations. Like, all of you guys were super awesome, totally laid back, totally friendly. And for anyone that's considering, I highly recommend going on. It was really a lot of fun. And even spectators, man, go to a first draft, get the headphones. The crowd was making it too. They're laughing and chiming in, and it was just a killer atmosphere. So recommend everybody to tune in or go to first draft and check it out on Wednesdays.
Let's go. Love that, man.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Austin. Well-deserved victory, my friend. Have fun on your second date. I'm sure we'll follow up and hear how it went.
Sounds great. Appreciate it, boys.
All right. Take care, brother.
See ya.
Yep. Talk soon.
Wow. Well, that worked out great.
That was awesome.
That's good fun. Well, I will say that was a solid 40 minutes. Fantastic show, Mark. You did a great job, man. I will say we need to get stoked for next week. We are attacking next week with some of the... Well, if you're listening to the show on Tuesday right now, tomorrow's show is going to be featuring our very first drag queen. And we're pretty stoked about that. His name is Dobbs DeCourcy, one of the cooler names that we've ever seen on the show. He is a gay man who is looking for love on a podcast once again. And one of his side gigs that he prides himself on is being a drag queen. And I'm excited to see how this all shapes up, man. We have already just a sneak peek at the contestants. We already have one lined up that is also in the drag scene. So this is going to get pretty fun, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's going to be a great episode. I think it's going to be one of our most unique episodes. I think the Date Night podcast was built to have a show like this. So we'll get some good info from Jess this weekend. She'll be out and about scoping out some dates for our king. And I'm excited.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
This is a lot of unknowns heading into this week, but my favorite episode of last year, season 1, was episode 5 when we had King Max McCurdy on, and the 3 gay guys that we lined up with him just absolutely grand slammed in terms of the content and just the entertainment value all over the place. It was just really, really fun to be a part of that. I'm excited to revisit it again here for episode 3 of season 2, man, and it's going to be insane. I'm stoked.
Well, I got nothing to add there.
That's it. That's the
That's
pitch.
it.
That's the pitch.
That's
See you at First Draft on Wednesday next week, March 3rd. We have Dobbs DeCourcy, King Dobbs DeCourcy. It's going to be a hell of a time. We're stoked to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for making it this far. We love you guys. Take care.